Voice for the freedom of Julian Assange. Thank you, Gordon, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It is really important that you are all here today. We're live at the moment to hundreds of people on TikTok. Say hello to everybody. But there's the occasional person in the chat, as you can hear from the support by the people who are beeping their horns as they're going past. There's occasionally, you get the occasional person who says something that we know is totally untrue about Julian. That there were maybe charges in Sweden. There were never any charges in Sweden, of course. And why is it that we hear such lies from people? It's because they are repeating it, because they've heard these lies from the mainstream media who are conspicuous in their absence today. Lies such as the one gentleman in the chat, in the live chat was saying that Julian released publications that got people killed. That was what the person in the chat said. And the reason, of course, that they say this is because they themselves are victims. They are victims of propaganda. They believe in these things because they have been fooled into believing them. The mainstream media have lied about Julian for over a decade. They profited from his publications and then they threw him under the bus when the State Department went after him. And I want to talk a little today about the media. I want to focus on them. Because one of my first speeches I ever made was in front of the Ecuadorian embassy 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And I talked about the fundamentals of journalism. And I talked about how it's so important for journalists to A, be a point where they can gather information or get it from people who, are risking their lives, to then check it's true and then to publish it if it's in the public interest, and most of all, to protect their source. Because whistleblowers are a fundamental pillar of journalism and a fundamental, therefore, of democracy and the fourth estate. And what are we seeing now with the journalists over in America, in the New York Times, for instance? They're not just not protecting whistleblowers, they're actively outing whistleblowers, as we've seen with the recent Pentagon Papers leak with Jack Teixeira. Yes, the New York Times bragged in their publication that they found him for the State Department to then go and arrest. They're going against the fundamentals of journalism. You're supposed to protect whistleblowers, not go after them. You're going against the fundamentals of your own profession. And then I see a State Department press conference where all the journalists in the press conference get this. I'm not asking about the implications of this worldwide, because let's remember, these leaks in the Pentagon, these Pentagon leaks, they prove that all of the stuff that the media have been telling you for the last 12 months about the war in Ukraine is all lies. They've been repeating it, and now, for the person that showed them up to be all liars, they outed him and got him arrested. Can you believe that? This is what our journalists are now doing, our so-called journalists. I had a thought, the other day.
You didn't have permission.
You know how we're hearing that there were upwards of 50 FBI agents in the crowd on January the 6th? And you know how we're hearing that people high up in the Proud Boys, they were all FBI undercover informants too. I wonder how many of these journalists asking these State Department figureheads questions are actually FBI agents themselves, because they're certainly not journalists, are they?
Hey, bring the money.
You're supposed to demand... Come on! Free Julian Assange! This is the same country, remember, that is pointing fingers around the world at other nations right now and saying, your stuff stinks. We need to defend media freedom around the world, whilst actively trying to criminalise the very publication that has had a 100% success of exposing their lies. They're not just not defending media freedom, they're actively trying to dismantle it. And then the media is publishing their words like it's 100% true. It's pathetic. These people are telling us fairy stories now, whilst the person who's told us the most truth, more truth than all of them combined for the previous 50 years, they've locked up in Belmarsh and seemingly want dead. That is what's happened to the media in this country. They are not fit for purpose, and they are lying to you about almost goddamn everything. We need to turn on them, because right now they are actively going against democracy. They are actively trying to hijack it on behalf of the people they do public relations to. So what I want to talk to you now, the crowd here, because you are the most important people, you all know what's good and what's true and what's right. I want you to join in with me if you don't mind. I want to ask you some questions. And at the end of every question I ask you, the answer is the same. The answer is free Julian Assange. Are you ready? Do you want to know the truth about 9/11? Free Julian Assange! Do you want to know the truth about Tony Blair?
Free Julian Assange!
Do you want to know the truth about George Bush's war crimes?
Free Julian Assange!
Do you want to know the truth about the wars in the Middle East?
Free Julian Assange!
Do you want to know the truth about the financial crisis?
Free Julian Assange!
Do you want to know the truth about Obama's drone wars?
Free Julian Assange!
Do you want to know the truth about Jeffrey Epstein?
Free Julian Assange!
Do you want to know the truth about why Jeffrey Epstein had 13 different ways of contacting Peter Mandelson?
Free Julian Assange!
Do you want a free and fair and transparent government?
Free Julian
And do
Assange!
you want to live in a real democracy?
Free Julian Assange!
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 Free Julian Assange now!
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 There's only one decision!
No extradition!
There's only one decision!
No extradition!
There's only one decision!
No extradition!
Free him now! Thank you, everybody!
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you so much. Always clear, always powerful in your message. So grateful, always on our side. Thank you.